There was absolutely no need to do the finger countdown. You could have just said yes. Hello and welcome back to the Pacific Perspectives podcast. I'm Nux Memes. This time, Kyler Miyamoto has been nice enough to grace his own podcast with his presence. Let's start off with how was your Mexico trip?
It was pretty good. I didn't really do too much in particular, just kind of sulked around in the sun and got a little tan. I don't know if you can see.
We can't. You look really white.
Well, that's why I needed
Well, you didn't get a whole lot of it. Unless you did, in which
it.
case I don't know what you looked like before.
I think it's on my shoulders. I burnt my shoulders pretty bad, but besides that, just got some tacos and headed on out.
Classic went to Mexico and was like, oh, what should I eat? Oh, let's get tacos. You're so racist.
So
Did you know
original.
that?
Racist?
Oh, you also had it. You also drank Corona as well. There, like, come on, man.
I tried like all the like Mexican beers that the locals told me to get, and Corona just was. First of all, Corona's just better there. I don't know if you've had them here, but like they're okay. I'm more of a
Like
beer
them.
guy. You like them?
It's probably my favorite beer because I was like buying a Corona and then doing the old. Y'all mind if a white boy speaks a little Espanol? Hashtag Arriba. I like that bit. Anyway, keep going. Keep going.
I just that threw me off. Okay, but like putting a lime in a Corona, that's like a top five drink. Like in Mexico, in the heat, it's the bottle is sweating. You're sweating. It tastes as good as like water after like physical activity. Like you know what I mean? It's that type of sensation, and it's perfect. And
Bro,
the other beers don't really. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. Corona just is the best. I'm sorry.
guy who's about to find out he's an alcoholic saying that beer tastes as good as water.
Okay, hold on. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. I'm a big water drinker, as you know. Um,
That is true. Yeah.
but yeah, the beers. I thought I was a little disappointed. I wasn't disappointed by how good the Corona was. I was a little disappointed by like Modelo and the other ones they had. They're just kind of weren't the same.
What did you just throw?
Nothing.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let's get into. I'll start with the Canucks. I want to start with the Canucks because I don't have a whole lot to say. Nothing's really happened since last time I spoke about them, but I want to get your take on the report that the Canucks extended an offer to Kiefer Sherwood. What do you think of that?
I think we've discussed it before. I think if you're not able to get like a massive king's ransom for Sherwood, which they very well could, like I haven't heard too much about there being a market, but I still think that you very well could get the Tanners, just insane trade. Like what the hell are you doing? Um, but I also have said so many times that that's a guy you need to keep around for a rebuild. You need to have a glue guy who is like also actually good at hockey. You can't have a bunch of Ryan Reeves glue guys. You need to have a Kiefer Sherwood who can score. That's probably a perennial 40-point player in your middle six for like the rest of. I mean, assuming he's going to continue to get like 17 minutes at night. Obviously, you need the ice time to score that much when he's not an actual top six forward. But he you need guys like that to stick around to teach the youngsters how to play the right way. Because as like old time hockey, that as that sounds, that's totally valid. I mean, there's so many rebuilding teams nowadays that have gone on and rebuilt for so long. I mean, the Sabres is a classic example. You need to have those older guys to stick around, not just to teach them how to play better, but to like model it and actually show it on the ice and be just a little anchor, like a guy that you know is going to do well.
Okay, but Kiefer Sherwood is turning 31 in March.
It doesn't
We already
matter.
have a bunch of we already have a bunch of those guys on the team
I don't
with longer contracts and no move clauses. If we can get a first out of Sherwood, you really think we should just keep Sherwood? What young guys is Kiefer Sherwood going to mentor if we're not getting picks for these
see.
guys?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you'd want to reevaluate. You'd want to revisit, and I'm sure they've done this already. You want to revisit everyone's no move clause and say, do you want to stick around here for a potential 4 or 5 year rebuild and not make the playoffs for 5 years? Do you want to do that? I'm sure half of them would be like, yeah, sure. Like I chose to sign long term in Vancouver. I'd look at Garland, Hronek, and Besser for that. But if they say if they do want to move, then I think you think about holding on to Sherwood because you're right. Like you have to you can't have all of them. That's not a rebuild. You got to get rid of some guys, but it just comes down to him not having them no move clause. So you are right.
Sherwood is just he's a pending UFA. He deserves to play playoff hockey. There's really no reason to get an extension done. You have guys who can lead more than Sherwood can. Sherwood isn't even really like a leader. Like he has a lot of heart out there. He can show, the young guys maybe how to play by example, but like his game doesn't translate to all of them and he isn't really like he's never really given the kind of clubhouse big locker room personality feel to him. He just goes out and plays his game and it's respectable, but I don't think that's the guy that you need to keep around for the younger guys. I
Well,
feel like he's the guy you need to trade to get young guys.
he's not going to be treating He's not going to be showing Lekkerimaki. Oh my gosh, he's not going to be showing Lekkerimaki his shootout skills like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But like he's going to teach him how to play in the corners, right? Because that's something all the young guys need to know how to do. If you can't do anything physically, like along the wall in transition, know how to like take contact. Obviously they do to some extent, but not in the National League. It's just there's little details to these games that those guys can't just have a coach tell you. You needs to be kind of a friend player that it's just I imagine that would work a lot better. And I mean, besides Garland, I don't think they're like is Besser gonna be super gritty and teach the kids how to, play a two-way game? I don't think so.
Well, look look at San Jose with Tyler Toffoli. He's been perfect for that rebuild and he's not like a gritty guy. He's not a good defensive player at all, but he's
Not
been great for
not
them.
good defense, but he knows how to like play both sides of the puck to get more offense. Like I'd actually say that's a perfect example for my point here is you need to have a Tyler Toffoli to play with like
But he's
as
not good
stupid
defensively.
as stupid as
How
it
are you
sounds.
talking how are you talking about him being good on both sides of the puck but also saying he's not good defensively?
Do you think and this okay, just hear me out on this. Do you think that Macklin Celebrini is top 4 in points today if he doesn't have Tyler Toffoli to play with him?
I don't. I'm saying Tyler Toffoli is a great guy to teach him, but it's not like you don't need a guy who can play every single possible play style ever. Tyler Toffoli is a scorer. He's been great for Macklin Celebrini. That works. Brock Besser is a scorer. He can teach young guys how to score. Like, especially with Lecker because Lecker a shooter. He's got a great shot. He's going to be a scorer too. That's exactly the kind of guy that Brock Besser is. Like, this is a guy that could teach
Yeah.
the guys like Lecker
No, you got a
Sherwood's
good
a
point.
physical guy.
You get a good point there. I Sherwood can do he can shoot. I mean he's not elite at
Oh, he
any of
has a
those
great
things like
shot. Yeah.
Besser is, but I feel like you need to have him. You need to have different mixes in there. Is all I'm saying is you need to have a different mix of players. You can't just have everyone be young, everyone be a scorer.
Yeah, but you can just trade Sherwood, get that first round pick, and then bring in someone else to fill that role. Like if you can get assets out of Kefir Sherwood, then you should be trading him and just getting someone else who's willing to come in and be that guy.
I still think if you can get him at like 4.5 or like 5 years, I think you'd keep him.
5 years that takes him till he's 36.
You're not
He's
going to use the
played
cap
like
space.
this is his third full NHL season at the age of almost
Yeah, he's
31.
got less mileage.
He was playing in the AHL. What?
Still, no, but he's got less mileage from the national. You know how long
No, it
Tim
makes no
Thomas
sense
played?
to resign him. Pardon?
You know how long Tim Thomas played?
It's a goalie. That doesn't count. That's a whole
Same,
different fucking
same,
thing.
same thing. Same thing.
Goalies are like goalies can get better when they're older. Kiefer Sherwood needs to be traded, is what I'm saying, and it makes no sense that they're
I,
circling it
I,
back
I
to
totally
resign.
see. I totally see both sides. I just think between Garland, Besser, um, Sherwood, and I'm sure I'm missing another one. Who is another older guy you think that they might trade on forward?
Wait, I wasn't listening to you.
Okay, the point is moot. Between those 4 guys that I was going to name, the secret mysterious fourth guy that I'm drawing a blank on, you have to keep 2. You have to keep two.
Who did you
And I
name?
think, and I
Who did you name?
simply think that Sherwood would be the
DeBrusque?
one that gives you the least trade assets and costs the
Pedersen?
least money.
Besser?
Yeah, DeBrusque. I'd add DeBrusque to that.
Yeah. Well, DeBrusque, apparently there's some interest in moving him, which makes sense because he sucks.
It would only
He
ever
actually
be
has
to the
been better
Oilers
recently, though.
or the Flames.
DeBrusque has been good recently. He had his first 3 point. He had his first multi-point game of the season recently, and it was a
His
3 point game.
first?
His first, yeah. I can't believe he didn't look into it before, but yeah, he's still on
Wow.
like he's on like 40 point pace ish, which is like kind of what the low end of Jake DeBrusque's production throughout the years, but it's not really unheard of.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been scoring as much. I mean, if you look at Besser, holy shit, he doesn't know how to play hockey. It's crazy.
Yeah. He needs to be more of a driver too. Like compared to DeBrusque, who's more of a complementary piece, you really want Besser actually scoring goals on his own and like consistently potting. But it's not happening. It's not happening for him.
Okay, we got into a way longer debate about Kefir Sherwood than I thought we were going to. Do you want to move on to Oilers?
Yeah, sure. Those long debates are what it's all about, though, I gotta say. So for the
That is true.
Oilers,
I just didn't. You
they've
you haven't talked about the Oilers in 2 weeks. I talked about the Canucks last week, so
yeah.
it's only fair.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't
And
even
we only
have
have
too much
27 minutes.
yeah, that's true. It's gonna be a short one. There isn't really too much to talk about with the Oilers besides the fact that Mangiapane's probably getting traded. I thought it was going to happen a lot sooner. I think I told you. I think I told you like 3 days ago it was going to happen in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But there's consistent trade interest in him. But I think I need to discuss kind of how this all happened. So it. I think Friedman talked about it. The Oilers are attracting a lot of those kind of middling free agents, like a Mangiapane, like a Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, who they take less money on a short term contract. None of those guys have worked out, so the money like doesn't even end up mattering. So why am I a carrot? Kind of orange.
You
Anyways,
are.
I got lost. So they've signed guys like Mangiapane, Skinner, Arvidsson in the past, and I think they all really haven't worked out. For me, people are starting to look at that and wonder about Chris Knobloch. Is his ice time allocation kind of working? And it's hard not to think that it doesn't inspire. It inspires absolutely zero confidence in the bottom six players. If you look at their numbers in their bottom six, it's always been an issue with the Oilers. Besides 22-23 and 16-17, in the entire time that we've had McDavid and Draisaitl, away from those two players, we've never had laughing. We've never had above a 50% goal share away from them two. That's not conducive to winning hockey games. Even though they have, just imagine if they could, even split even like 45% away from those two would be pretty solid. It would be pretty solid. I think part of that is you're giving way too much ice time to McDavid and Draisaitl, but it's a really complex issue. It's really not as simple as Knobloch is this like evil demon who refuses to play the kids or any bottom six players, and it's also not that Trent Frederick and Mangiapane and Adam Henrique and all these players just suck at hockey and they're horrible. It's somewhere in between. And it's also a little bit of bad luck, I'd say, particularly this year, because they currently have a goal rate in the bottom six of like 30%. It doesn't matter if you're putting six Trent Fredericks out there. That's pretty unsustainable. Like, that's hilariously unsustainable. It's not going to be like that all year. I'd imagine at the end of the year it comes up to 40%, which is still embarrassing, but it's a lot better than 30%. I just don't think that they have the talent in the bottom six right now to not play the kids. You've got Quinn Hudson, you've got Isaac Howard, you've got Matt Savoy, and they're all playing great. Matt Savoy's playing good in the top six. I'd probably keep him there. Howard and Hudson are absolutely destroying. They're number 3 and number 4 in AHL rookie scoring. They're a little bit older. They're 22 and 23, but still pretty good accomplishment there. They're like above a point per game, almost a point per game and a half in Howard's case. I just don't understand why you're not giving them at least 13 minutes a night. Because Howard has not produced, but he's also playing 9 minutes a night. And the same exact thing goes for Mangiapane. He was playing 14 at the start of the year, and he was kind of doing okay. And now he's getting scratched, and he's playing 10, and he's on his way out anyways. But that's not conducive to like getting any goals, any points at all. You're not getting in a rhythm. They're not staying with the same line mates. It's a little frustrating from Knobloch, and honestly, it drives me nuts how he does this. He gives the fourth line 6 minutes. That is the lowest in the entire league. I, Occasionally, you'd have one player who's not on any special teams, and at 5v5, he just gets those 6 minutes. But it's consistently every single game. The fourth line does nothing and gets no ice time. So people ask about why Oilers bottom six does nothing. They don't play. Of course, they're not going to do anything when they get 15 minutes. They're getting less than a period of hockey every single day to do nothing. If you gave McDavid 10 minutes a night, he would be a 40-point player. A 40-point player, like that. It doesn't inspire confidence, and it just straight up gives you less of a chance. It's simple math at that point. Um, and also Trent Frederick sucks. I'd say that's the biggest thing is in the bottom six right now. Trent Frederick is. I don't know if he's playing injured. I would certainly hope that he's playing injured because his foot speed is gonzo. But besides that, they just aren't good. Really, I'd play the kids. It's that simple to me. Play the kids and actually give the bottom six ice time. Give them 13, 11 minutes a night at least. No, maybe they'll do something.
That's actually exactly what I said for the Canucks because more recently, Höglander and Ratu have been in the press box for like many games. They're only getting in now because of Rossi and Garland being injured. So it makes no sense, especially in our position, for Ratu and Höglander to not be getting into games, especially Ratu. Like, why is Ratu not
Yeah,
getting to play games? He's the
he can
third
take a
best
face off.
faceoff guy in the entire league. He's a physical guy. He's going to be our hits leader once we trade Kefir Sherwood, assuming we do, which is a pretty fun stat. Big guy. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think Trent Frederick just kind of sucks.
That's the biggest takeaway from that whole discussion is Trent Frederick
It really
sucks.
is. I mean, I think it really is. Um, I want to now introduce you all to a new segment, including Xavier.
Oh,
I call it I'm getting my mom to do my Tim's picks, and we're going to see who she chooses.
I like this.
Okay. I don't know if he'll be able to go through the mic. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
No, you fucking can't. I'm gonna get aired. Wait, this is actually a new segment I like to call getting. Oh, hi mom. I'm on the podcast right now, so we're gonna do the Tim's picks. This is a new segment. Okay. Jake DeBrusk, Brandon Hagel, Niels Hoglander, Ellie Tolvanen, Steven Stamkos, Kyle Connor, Sam Reinhart, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, Kale McCarr, Jesper Bratt, Taylor Hall, Zach Hyman, Cole Perfetti, Connor McDavid.
Jesper Bratt.
Hyman, okay, not bad.
I'm an okay.
Okay. Matthias Michelli, Matthias Janmark, Stefan Nason, Matthias Ekholm. A lot of Matthiases to start. Scott Lawton, Anton Lundell, Alex Iafallo, Philip Hronik, Brock Besser, Yvonne Barbashev, Adam Lowry, Matthew Olivier, Roman Yossi, Ryan Strome, John Tavares.
It's got to be Tavares.
Matthias Ekholm.
Okay.
A little bit of a
The
questionable one there,
defensive
but that's okay.
defenseman.
Okay. Sean Walker, Connor Timmins, Jalen Chatfield, Neil Pionk, Yanni Gord, Mike Riley, Tyler Myers, Simone Benoit, Ivan Provorov. For some reason, Dakota Joshua is in here, even though he has a lacerated kidney. Cole Kepke, Marcus Pedersen, Ty Emberson, Trent Frederick, Nick Robertson.
Robertson. Everyday Robertson. Those guys all suck.
Xavier, you can't say anything. Fuck.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, crap.
Okay, that's fine.
I gave it away.
That's fine. Nick Robertson is the answer. Okay, so yeah, you actually you got Dawson Mercer right on January 4th, and then I forgot yesterday. So yeah, my bad. Okay, anyway, that's it. Like,
I hope you
you're welcome.
enjoyed this edition of JC's Mom Airs Him.
Well, okay, so Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Nick Robertson. I was so badly hoping she would pick Trent Frederick on that last one because it would have been so funny. It
I mean, he's
would have been so
due.
perfect.
He's
Maybe.
due,
Can you imagine now if he
technically.
doesn't? I guess Nick Robertson was really your pick, though.
Yeah, he's been lighting it up lately. He's been doing pretty good.
No, he's the right pick there. It's just
He always has one
gotta get
good
going.
month a year, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to this. What else do we even have to talk about? We have 18 minutes left, and I feel like World Juniors. That's it.
Oh, World
That's the
Juniors,
money
yeah,
one.
and
World
the
Juniors,
Olympic picks
Sweden.
too. Did you talk about the Olympic picks on the last one?
I don't think so.
Well, we can have a few discussions on that. It's
Okay. First of all, World Juniors. Sweden has won their third medal ever. Their third gold medal. Sorry, their third gold medal ever. It's their first since 2012, when Mika Zibanejad scored the overtime winner in the gold medal game against Russia. Since then, Mika Zibanejad has washed and unwashed himself like 3 times. Um, and also, the last time Sweden won gold, Buffalo was coming off a playoff appearance, and we were coming off the Vancouver riots. So it's pretty crazy it took them this long. But their team this year was so fun. I mean, Stenberg, Frondell, Berglund, Boumediene. They just had so many pieces that were so good. I'm
yeah.
Bjork too, both Bjorks. Well, I guess Figo's kind of a little bit better, but Wilson's a Canucks prospect, so
Hmm.
shout out Goat. They just had such a fun team this year.
Their top end talent was like I didn't see a lot of people picking them to win the tournament because Sweden in international tournaments like just perennially always sucks. That's why I'm not picking them for the Olympics for any medal, despite them probably having a top three roster. Um, when they showed that graphic, they were up 3-0, and it said gold medal since two gold medals in 81 and 2012, and that's it. I cannot believe that because of how like think about how good that Olympic team is right now. They've got so many top players at every single position, especially the goalies. They've always had the best goalies over and over and over again. And they really I don't know what it is. Is it the coaching? Like I don't get it. They
I
always
think,
suck.
I mean, it's especially crazy because in 1993, Peter Forsberg put up 31 points in 7 games, and they didn't win.
What?
How did they not win that year?
He's just stat padding against Latvia. I think that's what it
I get
was.
he must have been. I don't know, but that can't just be Latvia. Like,
Could be.
I mean, that's a crazy stat. They didn't win that year. That's insane. He had 11 points in 7 games the year before. Maybe not
But
quite as much as
it's
I thought they were.
always in the quarterfinals and the semifinals that they lose out. And I mean sometimes they do medal, but it's a lot of silver medals and it's a lot of dominating the group stage. Like I think they were like 71-2. I think that was the stat I
Yeah,
saw. And they just
it's never lost.
cannot win a meaningful game for the life of them. And it's the same thing at
They're
the
the
Olympics.
Toronto Maple Leafs of
Yeah,
international
they
hockey.
really are. They really are. Soft. Maybe not actually. Not this year. They were pretty physical, I got to say.
They weren't that soft, but they have the Swedish players have been
Yeah.
called out for being soft. I know because I'm a
You know
Canucks fan.
what though? People talk about oh, there's like some issue with Canada, or because it's 3 years in a row they've kind of fell under expectations. They finally medaled. They didn't go 3 years without medaling. That would have been absolutely embarrassing. But I Sweden has their top players. Frondell didn't stay in the NHL. He's dominating the SHL. He's a third overall pick, an absolute elite, will be a top line center in the NHL in a few years. He went to the tournament. Macklin Celebrini, Matthew Schaefer, those guys, if they went to the tournament, it's over. It would be a 10-0 game in the gold medal game.
I was actually thinking if, say, Macklin Celebrini is on Team Denmark in this tournament, how do they do?
Quarterfinal loss, I think.
Okay. What if they have both Celebrini and Schaefer?
Silver medal. Silver medal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing to think because, like, I mean, Celebrini is almost like 2 points per game in the NHL.
Yeah.
Imagine him in this tournament.
Yeah. Like you've got guys that are so good that they have to stay in the NHL. Even guys like Ben Kindle. Like
I was thinking about
that
Kindle,
would
yeah.
be that would be probably a top 3 winger for Canada. That would be most teams' best forward. Like
Sam Dickinson too.
Sam Dickinson,
Like,
Canada's issue is not that they have They have too much talent. That's their issue. Is their talent is so good it's staying in the NHL. That I mean, I don't know if you can even fix that. That's just how it is. Do you just have to aim to have players that are like good enough that they're amazing, but they only light up juniors and they're not quite ready for the NHL? I mean, you might have McKenna back next year. People are saying is not NHL ready. Stenberg might go first overall, and because of this tournament, honestly, maybe if something, unless something changes with how he's playing in the NCAA, they might have him
I
next
think
year.
it's I think it's a very contentious point. First overall, I mean, clearly it is, but from this tournament, like McKenna maybe didn't have the strongest performance in that semifinals, but he still put up 14 points in 7 games. Like he had good plays in there. He wasn't a bad player. I see everyone talking like, "Oh, Stenberg is definitely first overall now," as if McKenna was just like 4 points in 7 games. Stenberg was great. I love both of them. I think they're both great players, and I can't wait for one of them to be a Canuck. But I don't think that this has like absolutely 100% decided who's going first overall. It was very fun to get to watch these guys too, and uh, I mean the World Juniors are a great time to watch these draft prospects and form some sort of opinion on who's better. And I do think Stenberg had the better tournament, even if McKenna put up more points. But I don't think it was like that far.
It definitely wasn't a massive discrepancy, and I think even for me lately, I definitely used to watch a few kind of SHL, KHL. Not anymore. I don't have the time for that. So I'm with the same group that the World Juniors is the only time you're actually experiencing these like top draft eligible guys with your own eyes and kind of making a judgment on them. Other than that, you're just looking at like mock drafts and whatever the experts say. But you need to understand that tournament really should have absolutely no bearing on who you're drafting. It really shouldn't have any bearing. It means basically nothing. If you go back and you look at the top points list, now I will say it is important to see how goalies do. I'd say, especially against top teams, I think that's kind of a good way to get a feel for how they do against other teams' top guys because usually those goalies are playing in the U20, U18, and Sweden and Finland, and you don't get to see them go up against the top guys of Canada. If they do good against, could be a good indicator. But that's just one part. But besides that, I really don't think that you can use this tournament to really evaluate. And some scouts will probably do it, but it's just stupid. Go look at the top points list historically. It's nuts. It's nuts. You've got like guys who never showed up in the NHL putting up 2 points per game for teams like Sweden and Finland. It's just don't even seriously. You could argue Stenberg over McKenna because Stenberg is a point per game in the SHL and McKenna is a point per game in the NCAA. It's not just a point about points; it's about deployment and defensive game and explosiveness and stuff like that. You got to evaluate their skills, but just based on the production alone, yeah, Stenberg should probably be going first overall this year, just based off of draft zero numbers. But it's not based off of just
I
the
feel
tournament.
I feel as though the World Juniors have something to say because like you mentioned, Stenberg's in the SHL, McKenna's in the NCAA. The competition that they're facing is so like drastically different. Because one's a men's league, one's a college league, and in this tournament you get to see them against equal competition, see how they fare. I think that this is a valuable tournament for that. I don't think it like absolutely 100% determines who you're picking, but I think it is valuable to take something from these games and see how they do against the same competition.
Maybe. Definitely situationally, looking at, how they handle the pressure, I think that's probably a good thing. But even most NCAA teams are better than, say, the Slovakian, the Swiss team. Maybe not as good as the Czech team, and obviously Canada, Finland, Sweden are probably better than your average Czech team. But absolutely in the SHL, all of these teams are worse than any team that Stenberg is playing in the SHL, and they put up similar numbers. So it's just it doesn't really mean too much to me. And if you are changing your draft board by like a very significant margin, if you're like moving a guy up 10 spots because he had a good tournament, it's just kind of lazy.
We have 8 minutes, so we should move on to Olympics. I'm going to get some things out of the way, and then you can say what you want to say. No Fox and no Robertson on the American team is crazy. Canada's defense is fucked. Chychrun should definitely be there, besides others who definitely should be there. Pontus Holmberg being on the Swedish team is insane, and nobody wants to listen to you talk about Bouchard right now. So, with that being said, go on with whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, completely ignoring the fact that they left the second best Canadian defenseman in the league off the team, which
Chychrun.
is
Chychrun, right? We're talking
actually,
about
you know
Chychrun?
what? Yeah, you could say Chikrin. I actually, you know what? I think I'd agree with you. Chikrin's better than Bouchard this year. They
Definitely.
left the number 2 and the number 3 best defenseman, because I think they're both better than Morrissey this year, off of the team. Let's extrapolate that. They also left off Matthew Schaefer, who is also a top 10
Yes.
defenseman. You could have had 5 top 10 defensemen, and you chose just 2, Morrissey and Makar. I just I don't care if none of them are actually Shaver is pretty good defensively. I don't care if Chicken and Bouchard aren't like they're average defensively. I think both of their, especially in Chikrin's case, their defensive issues are totally overblown. They've had a few bad giveaways. They go up against top guys all the time, but they're otherwise average defensively. Not taking them for that reason, even as extras, is just so asinine. It makes absolutely no sense. If you want to take role players who are good defensively, take Uyghur. You have Pareko. He's very good defensively. I completely understand taking Pareko. Like I said, obviously it's not just come. It doesn't just comes down to who's the best defenseman. I totally understand that you need to have some good guys who are great defensively. It's just, even if that's your what you're going for, you took Thomas Harley, who's awful defensively this year, is playing totally injured, hasn't even really done much offensively. Why would you not take Chikrin instead of him? Like, there's literally
Yeah.
there is absolutely no argument that you can take Harley over Chikrin in any situation. Defensively, offensively, it makes no sense.
I think Travis Sanheim has been decent this season, but not Olympic level good this season. Especially what are you getting from Sanheim that you aren't getting from Chikrin? Maybe he's better defensively, but Chikrin's analytics are so towards the middle because he just spends all of his time in the offensive zone anyway. He just dominates in there. So yeah, Sanheim, Harley, Dowdy, questionable. Pareko, maybe you can question it, but also like he fills a role on the team that they aren't getting from a lot of other people
Again,
probably. But
it's just, if you wanted to take a good defensive guy, there's Uyghur, there's Montour
Uyghur
instead of
kind of
Doughty.
sucks though.
Like, I genuinely
Montour's
do
cool.
not understand taking Doughty unless it's like a Crosby thing, or maybe even a McDavid thing, because I know they're friends. If it's a thing where like I need to take Doughty, okay, maybe you acknowledge that and you take him. But unless it's that, it makes no sense.
If he were actually healthy this year, I would have loved to see Chris Tanev get a look for that
Exactly.
defenseman role because
Yeah.
he's one or two. It's Slavin and Tanev as the 1-2 best defensive
Yeah.
defenseman in the league. So unfortunately, Tanev just has not been healthy this year, so he couldn't be the guy. Um, and you kind of have a little bit of a drop off no matter who you pick after that because Uyghur hasn't been good this year either. Pareko's like whatever, like maybe he'll lock in. Doughty was fine ish during the Four Nations, but he's so bad during the playoffs. Like he was easily LA's worst player in the most recent Oilers Cup
That's
series, I think.
that's another thing. Like, I honestly do not understand what they're evaluating these defensemen on. Like, if it's defense, why is Harley there? If it's offense, why are any of them there? Because they're all terrible offensively. If it's purely just who is good at man-on-man defense, yeah, like Chris Tanev, Uyghur is still good at that. He's still solid defensively, even if the other game has kind of fallen off a cliff. Like Vince Dunn, even I think should be going instead of Travis Sanheim, and nobody's even heard that name because he's in Seattle. There are so many guys, and they didn't even ask Chikrin to go. They, or not even that. They didn't
Oh,
even
it's
talk
crazy.
to him. They didn't even talk to him.
Yeah,
They talked to
that's
Bouchard.
crazy.
They talked to Schaefer. Did they not
If
know he
someone
was
gets
Canadian?
injured, if someone gets injured, are we seriously not gonna call up Chikrin to replace them? Like
No. It'll be Schaefer, and then it will be Bouchard. I'm pretty sure is
it's
what the order
nuts.
would be.
Chikrin needs to be there. I mean,
It
the
just
the stuff
does.
he's done this season is crazy. He's good offensively. His
Yeah.
analytics are like some of the best in the entire league. And I mean, you didn't even. It wasn't even like a tough decision in my mind. Like Chikrin has to be there.
And if
Imagine your left side of defense can be. I mean, obviously Taves is going to be in there, but then you also would have Morrissey, Chikrin, and Theodore, and that's like those are four guys who you can have faith
So
in
good.
as your left-handed defenseman.
I honestly, it's a bit of a hot take, but I also wouldn't have even brought Devon Taves. He's been pretty this year.
I think it's I don't like him as a player really, but because he plays with Makar, makes Makar more comfortable, understands the way Makar plays, I don't mind it for that reason.
So why didn't they
It's
take
like
Hyman and
in
Nugent Hopkins?
well, because they are weird like that. I don't know. It's like in for the USA, like they have Hughes and Faber, who are definitely going to be a pairing. So it's a very similar thing there. I feel where you're just your number one defenseman is going to have his right hand man, or I guess left hand.
It's
Killer.
well, they were taking Faber anyways because it's Bill Guerin. The
Well, yeah,
biggest
yeah,
thing
yeah.
I've noticed in all this is they have their guys and they're taking their guys, and it doesn't matter what you have to say, how it doesn't matter how they play, you are taking your guys. The only situation where I saw that change a little bit was with the depth forwards on both USA and Canada. And but that's a bit of a misconception, not misconception. That's a bit of a difference because there's so many good forwards that you could take any number of the 30 guys as long as you take a McKinnon, a Jack Hughes, a Matthew, like as long as you take the main guys, any combination of those remaining 30 guys is correct. So people are arguing about, oh, Shifley was snubbed, or oh, Bedard was snubbed, and I do think he was, but it's like the drop off from Shifley to a guy like Jarvis or Bo Horvat, it's like doesn't really matter at the end of the day compared to on defense where the drop off from Evan Bouchard to Drew Doughty or Travis Sanheim to Jacob Chikrin is so it's a massive gaping chasm
Yeah.
in comparison.
Okay, we are at 6:59. I think the last thing I want to say is about Jason Robertson's snub. Bill Guerin is right. You can't just take the best players. There'd be no reason for a GM otherwise. But okay, first of all, I think Jason Robertson would add more to the team than Vincent Trocheck anyway. But I can see, maybe Vincent Trocheck fills a different role. What does Clayton Keller bring to the team that Jason Robertson
True.
doesn't? And I hate to call out Clayton Keller for this because I like Clayton Keller. He deserves to be there and all. But Jason Robertson certainly deserves to be there more. I don't get it. I don't get how Jason Robertson can possibly be left off that team. And it's so bad that Robertson and Fox snubs are so bad to the point where they actually pissed me off and it helps me.
I agree. I'm with you there. It's the same thing. It's inconsistent reasoning for why you're bringing these guys. Like if you just want to have great defensive guys, okay, totally, I understand. Role player having Vincent Trocheck there, I totally understand. But Keller is just worse at everything than Jason Robertson, who is one of the best players in the league right now. So why would you not take? I don't know. Yeah, I'm pissed off, and I want them to lose.
Okay. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me because I gotta watch my team lose again.
All right. Yeah, short episode today, 40 minutes, but I
Well,
think
maybe if you didn't spend 10 minutes figuring out the
setting up the
audio, it
mic.
would.
But I think the audio is a little better this episode. People will notice.
We'll see. I guess we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go watch my team get wiped.
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay, bye everyone.